So today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create this kind of pretty floral star ball grid shell in a spherical form. So this is how it looks like, our end product. First, we're just going to begin by going to our extended primitives and creating a hydra. So once you've modeled the hydra out, we're just going to make sure that you selected the duodec family, set your Q to about 1, and then make this an editable poly. So once we've got that done, we're just going to go ahead and tessellate, and it's just going to kind of generate these tessellations. That's a bit too much, so let's just keep it at that. Then we're just going to go ahead and click on our borders. I'm going to select these 5 here, and then go ahead to your you can kind of select all the other ones using your select similar tool. And what we're going to do is just going to connect these edges, give it about 3 tiers, and then we're just going to kind of increase the pinch point a little bit more, maybe set it to about 20. I think 20 is fine. Now that we've got our base kind of edges and wires set up, I'm just going to select the outermost kind of pentagon. Yep. And just going to make sure your rotate is set to local. And if you go to your, make sure your pivot point is set to the center as well. So now going to our bottom here, we're just going to rotate the z-axis by about 20 centimeters. So there we kind of have it. And now we're just going to select the second tier. Select similar. Make sure it's kind of captured everything. Otherwise you can just kind of select it again. And once we've got everything kind of selected, we are just going to repeat our rotate kind of movement, but this time we're going to rotate it by about 45 degrees. And finally, our last one, you can select on ring to select it, and we're just going to rotate it by about 90 degrees. And now with our in between, we're just going to select it, and then if you click on loop, it's going to loop against all the connecting boundaries. We're just going to select similar, and then that way it's, as you can see here, it's selected it's selected every boundary that's kind of generating the kind of floral shape that we want on our sphere. Now that we've got everything selected, we're just going to extrude these. So when we extrude these, it's kind of important that we don't, extrude it too much. So give it some height to kind of star shapes. You can kind of see 2 star shapes emerging quite clearly on these little knotted areas. I'm just gonna increase. You want to give it more kind of like width, and there you can see quite clearly 2 star shapes being formed. Now what we're gonna do is, if you select all your go to your faces selection, we're just gonna select this kind of like innermost star just to clean it up a little bit, and select similar to select all the other ones. So once we've got all of these selected, what we want to do is go to our scale. And we're just going to scale it down, maybe about till it looks kind of like small little knots. I think that's about a good size. And then we're just going to add a relax modifier. So we're going to give it an iteration of about 3, and here you can see it's just starting to kind of clean up the knots a little bit more. Next, we're just going to apply an edit poly to this, and again, maybe scale it down just a tad bit more. So you can see here now it's kind of created these pretty little flowers that we can click on loop. Again, similar to what happened previously, it's kind of looped the surrounding grid shell in creating this kind of beautiful flower shape. So now we can basically go ahead and kind of select the inverse and delete the kind of core of this, and all that's remaining will be our kind of floral grid shell starting to take shape. Next, we're just going to spherify this. Sorry, just try that one more time. Just gonna spherify this, just kind of make it a little bit more spherical. Let's do that again. There we go. It's all working greatly now. And you can see we're just going to edit the poly one more time and smoothen it. So this is starting to take shape. So before we smoothen it out, we're just gonna add a shell, just to kind of create a kind of like a beveled effect. Give it an inner amount, just so we don't mess up the outer surfaces. Just gonna set the inner amount to about 0.8 centimeters. There we go. And now, again, we're just gonna edit poly. And finally, before we go to our last step, what we want to do is we're just gonna select the inner faces. So if you hold Shift and select it, and go to your modify selection and select on everything that's similar, this highlights everything for you. And what we want to do is we're just going to add a little bit of an inset. This just kind of gives it a kind of beveled edge. Just going to increase it by a little bit, not too much. There we go. Make sure you've got everything selected again. Finally, our last step, we're just going to add our Turbo Smooth. And you can see what that kind of inset has done for us. It's kind of created this more 3D beveled and embossed kind of effect for our spherical form. I'm just going to increase the iteration just so it looks a bit smoother and prettier. But yes, there you have it, our floral spherical star ball grid shell.